Everyone, we are back for the TTC Level 2 lecture. I am working on uploading all of these lectures here to the channel. That way, anyone who is part of the TTC course can reference these videos in case they miss a lecture or they want to rehear the lecture. And of course, it's free to watch the lecture, even if you aren't a student of Third Eye. So let's get into it. Okay. So, for those of you who might have missed the last one, TTC is a 6-week tarot course that is broken down through 6 levels, and there is a lecture for each class. I'm uploading all of this. That way, students who are currently part of the class can reference this if they would like to hear the lecture again. And also that way, if students miss a class, they can reference the lecture here on the channel. And of course, like I said earlier, in case anyone's not currently a student, they can listen to these lectures. This will not give you the entire class. These quick videos are not going to give you everything you would get if you were a student in the class. This is just giving you the lecture. So we just did level 1 earlier. Now we are beginning level 2. The level 2 class is exclusively all about the major arcana, aka the Fool's Journey, aka major life events, aka the Fool is Us. So let's get into it. I am drinking some lovely strawberry passion fruit hibiscus tea. Okay. You might see me looking down here at my laptop because I'm referencing the lecture that I have created and the class guideline that I have created. So if you see me looking down and reading off of this prompt, it's because I am. What is the major arcana and how is it useful? The major arcana tarot cards represent the life lessons, karmic influences, and the big archetypal themes that are influencing your life and spirit's journey to enlightenment. The major arcana card meanings are deep and complex. These tarot cards truly represent the structure of the human consciousness and hold the keys to life lessons that are passed down throughout the ages and the generations. That is the major arcana. Hey Google, turn the volume down. Let me know if that music is too loud, guys. So we are going to discuss the major arcana cards here in this lecture. First and foremost, the first card of the major arcana would be the Fool. The Fool is the first, or sometimes considered the 0 card. This is the hero of the story who ventures through the world of the major arcana. Now, when you have this card in a reading, oftentimes, if it is upright, this is going to represent a sense of spontaneity, new beginnings, a free, traveling, wondrous spirit with a sense of wanderlust. And if this card were to come reversed, then we're going to be looking at more naiveness, impulsivity, and recklessness. And when you look at all of these major arcana cards sprawled out in numerical order, it tells a story. Just like some of your favorite fairy tales are stories, the Fool's Journey, aka the major arcana, can be looked at as a story. So the first card, or the 0 card we have, is the Fool. The second card, the Magician, is the first encounter on the Fool's Journey, because we consider the Fool card as the 0 card. So the Magician is the first encounter on the Fool's Journey. The Magician card is number 1, the number of new beginnings and opportunities. So let's keep that in mind when we're referencing number 1 of new beginnings, of opportunities, of potential, because this numerology, this layer here of the major arcana, is going to be a theme throughout the rest of the entire course, including the minor arcana when we get to that as well. The number of new beginnings and opportunities, and associates that with the planet Mercury. Mercury is the god of communication. Mercury is associated with air, with the intellect, with the mind, with messages. See what I'm saying? He stands with one arm stretched towards the universe and the other pointing down to the earth. It's a pretty iconic hand representation that you will see this throughout a lot of religious iconography. Baphomet instantly comes to mind. The as above, so below. As the gods, so are we. That simple hand gesture there has leaps and heaps of hidden messages just in the hand gesture. His positioning represents his connection between the spiritual realms, okay, the spiritual realms, the heavenly realms, and the material realms, the physical world. The magician is considered that of a coyote or trickster spirit as well, okay? This upright is going to represent manifestation, power, and resourcefulness. When we're talking about the upright, we're talking about the hand pointing upwards towards the heaven, towards the cosmos, towards the sky. We're talking about as above, so below, right? Because the magician is like a sage almost. The magician is the archetypal embodiment of creation and manifestation. So there's our key word right there, manifestation, right? Power, will, and intent, resourcefulness, using the energies up above to manifest into the earthly realm. Reverse, this is going to represent manipulation, trickery, and thoughtlessness. Now let's talk about this a little bit. Let's break this down. So when we're talking about the as above, we're also talking about the so below. With the so below, we're dealing with more primal instincts, earthly instincts. So manipulation, right? Putting our will onto others to get that we want, right? Trickery, going right hand in hand with manipulation, and thoughtlessness or carelessness. These are elements and themes that you're going to see when you see the Magician card come up in readings. Now, the next one is the High Priestess. The High Priestess is the next encounter on the Fool's Journey, making this card number 2 in the Major Arcana. And we talked about this in the first one, Major Arcana, Arcana meaning secrets, Arcana meaning hidden. So number 2 in the Major Secrets is the High Priestess. The High Priestess sits in front of a thin veil decorated with pomegranates. There's some symbology right there for you with the pomegranates. And the Grecian lore around the underworld and Persephone and Hades, right? The pomegranates. The veil represents the separate conscious and subconscious realms. Similar to how we have the magician with as above, so below, we have the High Priestess here kind of between worlds of the living and the dead, the conscious and the subconscious, the seen and the unseen, and serves to keep casual onlookers out. Only those who are serious may permit, right? Only the initiated may enter this space. The pomegranate and the veil are both symbols, right, that you will find throughout a lot of different mythology. Veils representing kind of gateways, guards to other realms, pomegranates representing the underworld, the darker realm, and specifically pomegranates on veils are symbols of abundance, fertility, and the divine feminine, and are sacred to Persephone, who ate the pomegranate seed in the underworld and was forced to return, that's a whole other video, every year. Now, upright, this card is going to represent sacred knowledge, the divine feminine, intuition, and the subconscious mind. So this is the card of the seers. This is the card of the psychics. This is a divine feminine card. This is the card of intuition. This is our soul's voice card. But reversed, what could the High Priestess look like reversed? That would be a disconnection to our intuition. That would be a blockage of our third eye. That would not be listening to our inner voice. And that would also be things being hidden from you, like a veil, because the High Priestess, you know, keeps those who are not initiated out. The High Priestess is not for the casual onlookers, right? Okay, let's move on, guys. The Empress is the next that the Fool encounters, making her number 3 in the Fool's Journey, or the Major Arcana, Major Secrets, number 3. The Empress is a beautiful, full-figured woman with blonde hair and a peaceful aura about her. On her head, she wears a crown of 12 stars, showing her connection to the mystical realm and the cycles of the natural world. The 12 stars around her head, think of the 12 months in a year, as well as the 12 planets too. Her luxurious array of cushions and flowing red velvet surround her. One cushion features the symbol of Venus, the planet of love, creativity, fertility, beauty, grace, the divine feminine, and that is truly the essence of the Empress. Upright, this card is going to signify abundance, beauty, femininity, and motherhood, mothering. The Empress is often troped as the mother card, okay? Reverse, this is going to represent creative blockages and depending on others and establishing codependent relationships. Think about upright, it being mother and everything that mother embodies, not just being sexually fertile, but mothering, nurturing, tending to, caring for, okay? And reverse, that is the shadow mother. When you have the Empress reverse, she then becomes the shadow mother archetype, which could represent that lack of caring, right? Or that lack of nurturing as well. The Emperor. The Emperor is the next that the Fool encounters, making him number 4 in the Fool's Journey of the Major Arcana. 4, the 4th hidden secret, is a nice way to look at that. If the Empress is the mother archetype of the tarot deck, the Emperor is the father. He sits upon a large stone throne adorned with 4 ram's heads, symbolic of his connection with Aries and the planet Mars. In his right hand, the Emperor holds an Ankh, which is the Egyptian symbol of eternal life, and in his left is an orb representing the world over which he rules. Okay, that's kind of a nice, short, brief description of what that card looks like. And we're talking about the RWS, the Rider-Waite-Smith. So upright, this card is going to represent the father. So you're looking at aspects of divine masculine, authority, fatherly figures, structures, right? Reason, kind of, logic, you know? And when it's reversed, we're talking about the shadow father, just like with the mother or not the mother, the Empress, when she is reversed, she is the shadow mother. When the Emperor is reversed, he becomes the shadow father. So this could represent a need for excessive control, an abusiveness, right? Inflexibility. The Hierophant is next. The Hierophant is the next encounter in the Fool's Journey, making him number 5 of the Major Secrets, the 5th Major Secret. He is the masculine counterpart to the High Priestess. He is also sometimes known as the Pope in tarot decks and is ruled by Taurus. These astrological correlations between the zodiac signs and the Major Arcana speak volumes, right? The Hierophant is a religious figure sitting between 2 pillars of a sacred temple. Though this temple differs from the one which the High Priestess sits, they are almost connected, right? Because the High Priestess is dealing with more of the spiritual realm, the unseen world, that is our seer, that is our psychic card, versus the Hierophant is almost like the Pope or the chieftain or the communal leader in a way. When it comes to government and politics, that is not the High Priestess. The High Priestess is not political. The Hierophant is political. So this has to do with beliefs, traditions, and institutions. Sorry. So when this card is upright, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about traditions that have continued through generations. We're talking about belief patterns, your own beliefs as well as the beliefs put on you. And we're talking about institutions. When this card is reversed, we're talking about going against the grain and challenging those traditions, challenging the status quo, challenging those beliefs, right? The Lovers is the next encounter in this journey, making it the sixth major secret of the major arcana. The Lover card depicts masculine and feminine coming together in unison. This card can represent balance of yin and yang within us and finding the yin to our yang in the sense of relationships. This card is oftentimes associated with Gemini. Okay? So when this card is upright, we're talking about harmony, we're talking about love, we're talking about relationships within ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, making that connection to ourselves, as well as making that connection with others. When this card is reversed, though, we're talking about misalignment and selfishness, right? Because that's that shadow of love, which, what is the shadow of love? Hatred. The Chariot is the next encounter in the journey, making this the seventh card, or the seventh major secret. The Charioteer stands tall. There's no sitting down for this guy, as he's all about taking action and moving forward. Key word there, taking action and moving forward. That's the key to the Chariot. So upright, this is going to represent determination and action. When this card is upright, being determined, taking action, the Chariot, moving forward. When this card is reversed, what would the shadow be of determination? What would the shadow be of action? That would be obstacles and lack of direction, not knowing where to go, feeling lost. Themes and elements that embody kind of having a broken wheel on your chariot, not really knowing where to go or how to get there, or having obstacles in your journey. Strength is the next encounter in the Fool's Journey, making this placement number 8. This card depicts a woman taming a fierce lion. So we have themes of Leo here in the Strength card. Upright, think about Leo. Upright, this is going to represent courage, compassion, and influence. Leo is the sign of royalty, okay? So upright, we're going to have that influence. Think of like even like the beauty influencers and their influence, and the media and their influence. That's the strength, the influence. Compassion and courage, right, as well. The woman taming the lion is compassionate. The lion is courageous. You could say the woman is courageous too for taming a lion. Reversed, though, this card is going to represent self-doubt and raw primal emotion. The Hermit is the next the Fool encounters on the journey, making this card number 9. The Hermit stands alone on top of a mountain. The snow-capped range symbolizes his spiritual mastery, growth, and accomplishment. He has chosen this path of self-discovery, and as a result, has reached a heightened state of awareness in his right hand. He holds a lantern with a 6-pointed star inside. We got a lot of symbology right there in the lantern alone, guys. This is the seal of Solomon, a symbol of wisdom. As the hermit walks his path, the lamp lights and guides his way, but it only illuminates his next few steps rather than the full journey. He must step forward to see where to go next, knowing that not everything will be revealed at once. In his left hand, the side of the subconscious mind, the hermit holds a long staff, a sign of power and authority, which he uses to guide and balance him. So we have a lot of symbology there in the Hermit card. When we're talking about he must step forward to see where he goes next, knowing that not everything will be revealed all at once. There's your High Priestess reversed right there. That's things being hidden, things being veiled right there. Dealing with things that are unseen. The Hermit is all about going inward to find the answers within, to challenge and explore your own darkness, to retreat. So upright, this has beautiful elements of soul searching and introspection, right? Personal accountability and shadow work. But reverse is going to manifest as loneliness and isolation. The Wheel of Fortune is the 10th encounter in the journey, the 10th major secret. Major Arcana, major secret. Arcana is secret. This is the 10th secret, the Wheel of Fortune. This card shows a giant wheel with 3 figures on the outer edges and 4 Hebrew letters. Yod He Yvei Hai, the unpronounceable name of God, are inscribed on the wheel's face. There are also letters Torah, thought to be a version of the word Torah, meaning law. Teret, rota, Latin for wheel. The middle wheel has an alchemical symbols for mercury, sulfur, water, and salt. These are the building blocks of life, and these are the 4 elements. This represents formative power. On the outer circle is a snake, the Egyptian god Typhon, the god of evil. Descending on the left side, the snake also represents the life force plunging into the material world. On the right side rises Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead, who welcomes souls to the underworld. And on the top of the wheel is the Sphinx, representing strength. And the corners of the Wheel of Fortune card are 4 winged creatures, each associated with the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac. The angel is Aquarius, the eagle is Scorpio, the lion is Leo, and the bull is Taurus. These are the fixed signs. These zodiac signs bear influence over the Wheel of Fortune and the 10th major secret, the Wheel of Fortune. So, upright, this is going to represent good luck, destiny, opportunity, right? Because it's a Wheel of Fortune. Good luck, good blessings, destiny, opportunity, upright. That's a good card to get. That's a favorable card to get. Reverse, though, this typically more represents resistance and struggle or bad luck or curses or ill will, getting the Wheel of Fortune upside down. However, the Wheel of Fortune, much like the Wheel of the Year, is going to go in cycles, right? So we are going to have times where it's up and we are going to have times where it's down. The key there is to balance that out. And you can look and see how it needs to be balanced based off of how the Wheel of Fortune card manifests. Is it upright or is it reversed? There's a lot there within that too. Justice is the next card the Fool encounters in the journey, making this number 11. The figure of Justice sits in front of a loosely hung veil, holding the scales of Libra, signifying compassion between 2 pillars, similar to those framing the High Priestess and the Hierophant. Aha! This is going to symbolize balance, law, and structure. So upright, it's pretty clear what this card represents. Justice, right? We're talking about justice here. This is the 11th major secret. The card is justice. We're talking about justice. Just like with strength, going back to the Leo card, we're talking about strength. Some things are not as complicated as sometimes we make them out to be. So it also has to do with fairness and truth, right? But reversed, that would be the shadow of fairness, the shadow of justice. So unfairness and dishonesty, lack of accountability. The Hanged Man. This is a very iconic major arcana card that people get sometimes. This is the 12th major secret, the 12th encounter in the Fool's Journey. The Hanged Man shows a man suspended from a T-shaped cross made of living wood. He is hanging upside down, viewing the world from a completely different perspective. His facial expression is calm and serene, suggesting that he is in his hanging position by his own choice. He has a halo around his head, symbolizing new insight, awareness, and enlightenment. Think about it, guys. When you see this halo around the head, think of all the religious iconography throughout the Abrahamic faiths, as well as through Eastern religion, that you see deities with orbs, with suns circling around their head. Even in the Egyptian pantheon, right? You see the sun discs. So that has to do with enlightenment and wisdom. This has to do with kind of surrendering and suffering to gain new insight. Think about Odin and the Yggdrasil, right? Hanging, suspended, and creating the runes. So upright, this has to do with surrender and new perspective and enlightenment. Reverse, this would have to do with delays and indecisiveness. Death is the 13th major secret. Death. A lot of people get shocked, scared, bewildered when they see this card. The Death card shows the messenger of death on his white horse, representing endings, transformation, and rebirth, right? So upright, that is the end. This can absolutely mean literal death, though it's not limited to. It could be the end of a cycle, end of a bad habit. Endings, transformation, rebirth. Reverse, this card is going to represent resistance of the inevitable and struggle, right? So we don't want to have death reversed because that's resisting the inevitable when you have that come up. Because none of us escape the Reaper. Death is inevitable. Temperance is the 14th card the Fool encounters, the 14th major secret. Temperance is almost invariably depicted as a person pouring liquid from one receptacle into another. In many decks, this person is a winged archetype or an angel, usually female or androgynous, and stands with 1 foot on water and 1 foot on land. Upright, this card will represent moderation and connecting to your guides. Temperance is a very spiritual card. Very, very spiritual card. We're dealing with the similar themes we deal with High Priestess and the Magician of as above, so below. The conscious and the subconscious. The sea and the land. The spiritual realm and the physical world. Reverse, this card will represent excess, living out of spiritual guides, and even potentially ill fate, going back into curses, right? Like when we were talking about the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Here's another real popular fan favorite. The Devil is the 5th. Shows Baphomet, or the horned goat of Mendes, or Pan, and the lovers in chains, right? So we have a lot of symbology there. Upright, this card represents addiction, enslavement, attachment, and shacklement. Reverse, this card represents breaking those barriers, freedom and liberation, right? So when you get that reversed, that is huge in a reading. Well, all of the major arcana is going to be very impactful in a reading. But when you have someone, or if you're reading for yourself and you see this devil reversed, you see these chains being broken, you see yourself being liberated, you can taste that freedom. That's huge, usually. The Tower is the 16th encounter in the Fool's Journey. The Tower shows a tall tower perched on top of a rocky mountain while lightning strikes the building alight and 2 people leap from the windows, head first and arms outstretched. This is a scene of chaos and destruction. So upright, this card will represent sudden change, immense chaos, and a fresh start. Absolutely terrifying to be in a crashing tower, but once that tower has fallen, the Tower of Babel has fallen, it can be rebuilt. Reverse, this card will represent trying to avert disaster, much like with the Death card, trying to delay the inevitable, trying to avert disaster in fear of change. Towers fall, empires fall, that cannot be stopped. You can prolong it, but it can't be stopped. The Star is the 17th encounter, or the 17th major secret. The star represents the 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, and light within the darkest times. So this card is going to represent hope and faith when you have this come up upright. When this card is reversed, it's going to represent lack of faith, feeling hopelessness, and despair. So this could transpire as suicidal ideation when it's reversed, of severe depression and anxiety. The Moon is the 18th encounter. The Moon card shows a full moon in the night sky positioned between 2 large towers. 2 large towers, guys. The moon is a symbol of intuition, dreams, and the unconscious. Upright, this card will represent intuition, fear, and deception. So we have a lot going on there. Intuition with the moon, right? Being guided by our inner voice, being guided by our inner darkness, finding our way through the dark, through the things that we cannot see. We rely upon our intuition. However, the dark is also a scary place, and things lurk and hide in the dark as well. Reversed, this will represent a release of fear, right? Because the sun has come up and now we can see the creepy crawlies. So the release of fear, there is no fear of the unknown. There is none of that when the moon has set and the sun is up. Illumination as well, right? Everything that is done in the dark does eventually come to the light. I know that a lot of you who feel deeply connected to the moon might not necessarily resonate with this classical Rider-Waite-Smith traditional message and meaning of the moon, But I encourage you to really just think on it, because I'm someone who feels very called to the moon too and views the moon very positively. But keep in mind, we're talking RWS, we're talking Rider-Waite-Smith, and we're talking about the language of tarot, right? So this is not oracle. These are not our personal opinions. This is the language, and this is what the TTC course is built off. The sun is the 19th encounter in the journey, the 19th major arcana, aka the 19th secret. So, an infant rides a white horse under the anthropomorphized sun with sunflowers in the background. We got a lot going on there too. Upright, this card represents joy and happiness. Pretty simple. Happy summer days, right? But reversed, this is also going to represent sadness and depression, where the sun does not shine, right? So similarly, when we are talking about the star, not having the star represents a sense of hopelessness. If you have the reverse star and the reverse sun come up in a reading, that is a big wake-up call. That is a huge wake-up call. Judgment is the 20th encounter on the Fool's Journey and the 20th major secret. So, this card is the card of awakening. Upright, this is going to represent following your inner calling and redemption. It's a story of redemption. It's a story of listening to that inner voice, heeding the beckoning call of the high priestess, and following your truth, using your better judgment. Some things are a little just self-explanatory here, some of these cards. Reverse, though, this could represent poor judgment, stagnation, not listening to your inner voice, not doing what you truly think is right. And last but not least, the world. This is the last of the Fool's Journey. So we started with the Fool, who is the hero of the Fool's Journey storyline. And we have ended here at the world. This is the end, the world. This is the last of the major arcana, making it number 21. There's technically 22 cards, but we're counting the Fool as 0. So this is the 21st major secret. This is the card of completion. All things coming into an end, right? Phases coming to a close. And entirety. We've seen the entire major arcana at this point. This is also the card of the collective unconscious, of the source that all that comes from manifests. Upright, this represents achievement and fulfillment. So, that's a very positive card to have come up. Reversed, though, this might mean failure or regrets, right? Maybe not. The shadow of achievement is failure. The shadow of fulfillment is regret. So that is the complete major arcana. Major arcana as in major secrets, right? And in sticking true to the classical RWS and with using the theory of the Fool's Journey to describe the major arcana, that takes us through that timeline there. And you can really start to see how things start to click into place and how there's these archetypal major things that happen in life that are perfectly described by the major arcana. So, like I said, these videos are only going to be the lectures for TTC. So you are not going to get the full package by just watching this video if you're not a student in the class. But I wanted to upload the lectures. That way current students could reference them by watching the videos. And also, like, if students missed a class, they could hear the lecture, and students get all of the class stuff sent to them via email. So they will have all of this. So we have tarot sizes planned for the major arcana exercises and homework. I won't be sharing that here on this live video because it is only for the students, but thank you guys all for watching. And I will be posting the TTC level